Alright guys, today we are going to do again the roasting and the correction of your artwork. I'm going to spice up everything a little bit because I'm going to actually make a real photo shoot for every of the drawings that I'm going to correct to have an actual reference of the pose, and I want to point out how unnatural some of the poses that you draw are. So I'm going to do my best and make the most accurate poses, take the best pictures and use them in the correction of your drawings. So it's going to be pretty exciting. Keep watching. We have the perfect start because I already know it's impossible to put your shoulder in front of your face like that. It's not going to work. So let's go into the other room to make the photo shoot.
Okay guys, I don't know if it's a me problem. I tried my best, but this pose, try to do it yourself. I'm putting my leg on a thing, putting my shoulder in front of my face to cover it. The other shoulder, it's a little bit skewed, so the other shoulder is still visible like this, doing the hand like this. And this shoulder is here.
Best picture I found was actually a still from a video that I took accidentally. First, the shoulder could not go as up as in the drawing. We're going to move the shoulder down and then add some of that skin, some of that area on the cheek. What I'm actually going to do, I'm going to use the liquify tool, and then I'm going to reconstruct the eyes so I don't have to play too much with moving the actual shoulder. It's just going to save me some time. Okay, another correction I want to make is look at the jaw. I know that people just have big jaws, and this could be a girl with a big jaw, and she's going to still be a girl with a big jaw, but it's a little bit too big because with this perspective of her forehead being a little bit more to the front and her bottom of her face being more to the back, it should be a little bit smaller just because of the perspective. So we're going to pull it back a little bit. We are going to make it visually smaller. And take a look at her forehead. This is a mistake that I often see, is that the hair is levitating. There's no point in making the hair levitate, which you create this kind of effect when you add this kind of weird shadow next to the hairline. So we're going to get rid of it completely. The skin that's touching the shoulder, we're going to make it interact with the shoulder, so it's going to be like more up, you know, the skin is going to visibly be pulled up, and we're going to make the eyes a little bit more round because right now it looks like she has just some sheets of paper instead of eyeballs behind her eyelids, so we're going to make it rounder. We are adding some shadows to the eyebrow area because we want to give her a little bit more 3D feeling. We want to give her more dimension, right? As I'm shading the cheek, I'm shading the lips, kind of, I'm just looking at the reference basically. Like, it's so easy when you have an actual reference. Either you take a picture of yourself or you try to find a really good reference on like Pinterest or something, but it's important. Even more when you're a beginner artist that has no like map in their brain of the anatomy as much as I do. For example, I could probably go freestyle and make it look good, but you really should use a reference. So you can see how the shadow of her lip is connected to the shadow between the shoulder and the face. We're just going to blend everything out. And now another thing I want to correct is actually take a look at the values on my face on the picture. Take a look at the cheek and take a look at her cheek. What's wrong is that the cheek should be lighter than the jaw. And it's a really common mistake among beginning artists, like not really experienced artists, is that you try to shade the cheek just by doing this kind of makeup technique that you contour it in a way, but a much better way to show the cheek, to create a dimension on the face, is to create different colors of those two areas. This area and this area, just give them a different value. Make this area lighter since it's closer to the camera, it's less covered by objects around it. So just make this darker and you will showcase, just like what I'm doing right here, you are showcasing the cheek way more naturally and just visually satisfying way. And more correct, more realistically correct. Now I'm just going to render it a little bit, not doing too much, but just finishing it off. And this is the difference. Not only the pose is more natural. I wasn't playing with the hand, with the fingers, because we don't have time for that and it's not the most important thing. The most important thing was the shoulder and how the face reacts with the shoulder, create this kind of effect. So I think we succeeded to make it look way better. The face structure didn't really change that much. It still has the same like square face that you intended to make, I think. Ooh. Marvel, she suffers from a very serious case of giga head, giga neck, which happens often with you guys. I think this is going to be one of those drawings where when I correct it, the difference is going to shock you, and you can't see it right now probably, but the amount of incorrect anatomy that's happening here, okay, just keep watching.
I'm going to go on my knees just to take the picture because of the perspective. Okay, that's weird. Don't make it weird. It's already weird. The light is not right. Okay, perfect. So I can see from the light, perspective should be something like this. Or this? Fuck, I don't know. Because she is a little bit from above, right? We have to assume she's from above. I think she is. Like the neck is in this rotation, like this. So let's do that. The neck. Let's pose the way I think you wanted the pose to look like. Probably you wanted something like looking from there, or like this. Maybe you wanted to like just skew her head. But if you take a look at how my pose is looking at right now, when I actually just pull my head this direction, my neck is like almost invisible because my head is going to be in front of my neck. Okay, so let's take some pictures.
Okay, so we get the pose, and first we're going to separate everything and see how the sizes of different things, different areas on those drawings are interacting with each other, how they compare together. So look at how big the head is compared to the shoulders. And again, also the face is not placed in the right spot. Even if you wanted to make it like comically big, like your own art style, it shouldn't be so much forward. So we're going to have to move all of that. We're going to make her head smaller. The head is going to be still a little bit bigger than naturally, slightly. And also the shoulders, you also suffer from the fear of shoulders. And we had it already in the previous video. It's happening again, and it's pretty common thing. So moving the tits down, of course, the head down, and just kind of rearranging almost everything, because this is really wrong. So you can see how I make the head smaller, and it already looks a little bit better, but there's still much work to do. We have to move it further. And it's a good thing that we have the reference, because look at the positioning of the neck and the chin. Like the chin is exactly at the line. I mean, the pose can be different than the reference for this drawing. Like I could have had just a different pose, but still the difference is too big. The chin should be a little bit closer to the line of the neck. So we're going to move that. We're going to add some of that neck back. And again, this is a trend today. You have 2 sheets of paper behind the eyelids. There's no eyeballs. There's just 2 sheets of paper. I'm going to show you how to make those cat-like eyes without making it look so bad. Just create more shading in the corners. Make the corners pink. Create this shape of cat eyes, but just round it up in the inside, because your eyeballs are round. The eyelids, everything around it can give the effect of cat eyes, but the eyeballs should still be giving round or pretty round. You can always like stylize it and stuff, because what I'm going to do is not going to give round completely, but it's going to get closer and it's just going to look better. And you can see that the lips are not exactly in the right spot, so we're going to move it to the right. So because if you place the whole lip structure in the wrong area, it's going to play with how your brain perceives of like where the jaw is. Like, you're going to make the jaw look incorrect because it indicates where the teeth are. It indicates so much about the face. So the placement of the lips is important. And you forgot to give her nostrils. It's okay, you can add them back. I'm just adding a little bit more rendering, a little bit more details, a little bit more value contrast, more, just make it more crisp, you know? And I couldn't take the eyeballs, like the irises, because I'm just going to correct them. I'm going to make them even. And I know there are some art styles where you make the eye like oval. Sure, that's not the issue. I'm going to not make it oval. But the point is not that it's not round. The point was that one was too high and one was too low. And they were a little bit too small also. But that's not so important. I'm going to just correct it to show you how you might like it better also. All right, so we added some details, and now I'm going to bring the tits down, and she's looking pretty cute. Okay, and now it's time. Prepare. You have to prepare right now. Prepare for this. Okay, this is absolutely insane. Can you see how the head was so incredibly wrong placed, wrong sized? I mean, the corrections on the face are also giving a lot of plus points. Look like Tyrannosaurus Rex or something. So yeah, this result is insane. Lemtree's Arts. I am going to take it. I'm going to pause for it. It's pretty easy, so I'm kind of making my job a little bit easier right now, but it's going to be really satisfying to correct, because the shading on the face, like just being so lazy and so unprecise, undefined, and so unconfident. You need to be a little bit more confident. Also, way too much soft edges shadows. Let's just take it into my photoshoot room and then take it into Procreate. By the way, this video is sponsored by me. If you want to learn more from me, you can actually do that. I have my own digital art course. It's on my website, aliciaprints.com. And if you want to use my brushes, then also go to my website, aliciaprints.com, because the most amazing brushes that I have been working on for the last 5 years are there. You can get them for yourself to draw on Procreate. Let's go back to the video.
The way I could have just corrected it without the picture, but I feel like if I take the picture and show you exactly the mistakes that are made and how the actual human face actually looks like, I think it will fall better into places in your brain. So it's basically a really strong shadow on the side. So let's move it around, and you can see, I'm going to show you on the screen. You can see that like her face like softly transforms into a darker color. Doesn't really count in the shadow, the strong shadow that should be coming from the nose. So I don't know exactly what should be the angle here, because the shading is basically just wrong overall. So I'm just going to guess. Probably something like this. See, the number one difference is already how this side is actually lighter than this side. It could be because, of course, white walls, so there would be no white walls to reflect the light coming from this lamp. It could be different, of course, but the light is coming from here, so this is going to be really dark. It's not going to be lighter and going dark. Like, this is important to catch this hard edges shadow right there. So let's just take a picture and move on to correct it. All right. I just want you to know how strongly the light can reflect from the things around you. Look at my head. Look at my face. Look at how I'm going to move my hand around and how this side of my face is going to change. See the lights reflecting on my forehead. Here, how bright my face becomes just because of my hand. And it's the same with different objects. If you have like a bunch of hair Look how my hair reflects the light now. See? That's why I say, like, when you have bright hair and a lot of strong value contrast, a lot of light shadow contrast in your drawing, sometimes like white hair is not going to give you as much value contrast, but that's a different topic.
All right, so I have the picture that fits pretty well. And number one thing I'm going to do, I want you to take a look at the jaw. Look how the jaw is really bright, and you made the jaw like dark color because it's just a basic mistake that your brain makes you think like, oh, it should be a little bit darker, I guess. I don't know, because the head is round. Doesn't work like that. So let's correct the jawline and let's create a confident edges on the profile, side profile. Let's create this unique edge that gets created when you take a picture, when you have a face in a strong shadow like this. This is what you missed out on in this drawing. Like, you made it just one straight line because you were unconfident with your shading. Didn't know what to do, so you just kind of made it, okay. I'm going to make the bottom lip go a little bit more down, since her face is not like this, but it's more like this. So the bottom lip is going to go like this, right? More dimension that I'm going to create like that. And take a look at the nose on my picture, how it catches so much light. And it doesn't have to be necessarily like this, because the lighting could be different in a similar situation, but look how it's going to give more dimension to this correction in particular. And I can see that, I mean, she probably is like a little bit childish face, baby face. She has big cheeks, but you kind of missed out on the cheekbones completely. And I know I have a really square, hollow face. I don't have cheeks, so I'm not going to like change it looking at my picture, but I'm going to just add her a little bit more of the cheekbones. I'm not going to try and take away of her chubby cheeks, just adding the cheekbones. And the nice thing too, because I also can see that the hairline is indefinite and also is in the wrong place. You can see how the forehead should be going like this direction. So I believe you intended the hairline to be in the middle. Easy fix is to just take any brush, actually any brush, and just connect a little stroke to that place. It's going to give an extra spice of detail, and it's going to indicate the right spot of where the hairline split should begin. Also, really undefined structure of the bones here in the eye nose area. I'm going to just look at the reference and add some of those shadows so it's more 3D. I think the biggest issue with your drawing is like being undefined, being unconfident. Like, instead of actually researching or finding a reference, or if you have a reference, analyzing it properly, you just go with something that is just vague and kind of looks okay. Like, you know, it's comparable to it's comparable to, instead of washing your clothing, just spray it with some perfume, because from far away no one's going to smell it anyways. Yeah, it's lazy, and yeah, just focus on structures more, and don't be afraid of strong shadows or of strong decisions in your drawings. I'm going to add a little bit more lighter color to her neck, because as we can see on the reference picture that I took, there should be a little bit more light in this situation. On the neck, I'm not going to make it as bright as on my picture, because she has a lot of hair going on, and I feel like the light situation is still different than what I created in my photo shoot room. But making it slightly lighter, it's going to give her just more life, I guess. Now I'm going to just blend some of those things out and see what's going to be the final result. All right, and this is it. You can see that the biggest difference is just not hiding away with the shading, is using more strong edges shadows and more value contrast, actually placing the dark and light shadows in the right places more confidently. That's it. Let's look further Wait, what did she say? I already know her titties are too low. This is not the issue. I mean, it is, like, you can have low tits. It's natural to have low tits, depending on who you are. That's not the problem. I mean, I'm going to probably plump them up a little bit, but that's not the thing. There's a lot of things, maybe not so many things. I like the drawing, like I love the art style, I love the face, but she's falling. She's not on planet Earth. There's no way that she would be standing like this on planet Earth. There's too much gravity. She would tip over, fall on her back. And I'm going to explain it all to you. First, let's go into the Photoshop room and take some professional photo shoot photos.
Okay. The light is coming from where? From the front. Perfect. Her body is going down backwards. And her arms. This. You see that she's really stiff. This is what happens when we don't have a reference. Try to next time actually pose in front of the mirror or take a picture of yourself. Okay. Now let's try and make this pose more natural. Let's stand like, I think the vibe you were going for was like something like this. Like something, if you let her just have her hands like this, she looks like a finished robot. Like, one thing I know for sure is her hand, this hand should not go like this. If you want to, we can just make it flow down. Just let's make it flow down.
So when you have a posture like this, you have to think about how they actually keep the balance. And I tried, as you have seen, I tried to stand like this, but you will fall back. You might think like, what's the problem? Like, we are now scientists. I don't need to think about those things. No, you need to, because our brains see those things. We see if something is possible, if something can exist in the real world. Let's see how it differs from how I stood, actually having balance, and how she's standing. So the biggest problem is the right leg. I'm going to just move it to the right, so the whole posture is more divided evenly in between the middle. See what's happening in those two bodies next to each other. Let's compare it a little bit, let's see. And I know that like she has a really long legs. I'm not here to correct your art style or anything. I'm not going to shorten her legs to be as short as mine. But the thing I'm going to do is to, you see how my legs go really backwards? From the bottom of my torso is going forwards on the bottom, and then from that connection point to my legs, it's going backwards again to balance. And that's not what's happening here. So we're going to create this kind of structure of her legs going back. Okay, let's just do it. Really looks so much better. Another thing is, the hands are looking really stiff. So I'm going to make her hand flow a little bit more down. Like since her hand is not doing anything, I want her to literally seem as if there's no muscles used at all in her arm. So it looks more relaxed, the way it's probably intended to be. And now, not only we have a little bit better composition, because everything is flowing down a little bit more, like the composition looks just better in general, but also she looks more relaxed, and she looks like she can actually stand on her own legs on this planet Earth. I'm just going to give her a little bit more details, a little bit more value contrast around the whole thing, so it's popping more. And this is the difference. You can see how her pose is natural. You can see it's more natural. I just changed a little bit anatomy tweaks and a little bit more details using value contrast and line contrast. So, all right, and there's a bonus today because there's a girl that texted me, girl or boy, actually I don't know if the gender, they, saying like, oh, maybe you want to review my drawing since 4 years ago you reviewed my drawings in your old video, which I don't like my old videos, but I'm going to take a look. She, actually I can read it because in Polish you can tell by how you speak if you're a he or a she. It's pretty interesting. Like when I say I started something, I have to say it in a way like I as a woman or I as a man. Fun fact. And now let's take a look at her drawings. Now, I'm not going to correct it. Sadly, this is not going to happen because she draws traditionally now. So there's no, I should not stop that. This is not my field, but it's really good. I like the color use. I remember that before the colors were pretty gray and not as creative as this, but this, you are really getting into your own art style, and I love that. Yes, you changed so freaking much. Let's try to scroll back down until I find your old drawings. Yeah, I think traditional art just works better for you. Wait, this is the kind of art that you were making. This is really similar to the other drawing that I corrected 4 years ago. And you can see how you became so much more confident with everything that you do. And look at the difference. It's so creative. It's so, the colors, they are low contrast, but in a good way. Like you guys know, I love contrast, but there are artists that can use low contrast, low value contrast, and make it look good. And this is one of those artists. So I'm really proud of you. I love your artworks. Color use is better. The face structures are better. I feel like you really grow into your own style, and I love that, and I'm proud of you. All right, this is it for today, and I am so thankful that you watched until the end. Thank you for watching, and if you want to be in the next video, comment down below. The next video, I'm going to take one person from the comments on the YouTube and correct one of their drawings. And if you liked it, like, subscribe, give me some love. I need it. I'm so lonely. Okay, yeah. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great day. Love ya. Bye.